So let's flick through some of these little bits and pieces on here. Cooks the perfect crispy roast potatoes, offers to split the bill, knows how to deflect a lecture with grace and proposal with kindness, knows when to take control in the bedroom and in the boardroom. You wrote the list. How did you come to... there's 39 points on it. How did you compile this?
Well, it was in response to a similar list that we published last week about a guide to being a gentleman. And the entire office went into a meeting room, and I have to say that it is dominated by women. There's only 5 men in our office, and we sat down and we thrashed it out. And we did try to have a bit of fun with it, I hope you can see.
And was it fun? I mean, when this came across your desk at the Telegraph, did you think, oh, this is fun? What a lovely fun list.
I think it could have been fun. I mean, first, I think it's important to acknowledge that this is a marketing stunt by Country Life, and it's been a very successful one. But I think it was a real opportunity for them to have fun and for them to send themselves up. But I think they failed on it, sadly.
What would you have liked to have seen on the list, then?
I think just things that acknowledge what it means to be a lady, what it means to be a woman today. You know, where was the stuff about online dating or about social media, about not responding to trolls, which is something that affects women so much.
Well, they said, however lucky in life, the lady doesn't boast on Facebook. That was point number 39, you know, there's a bit of social media for you.
That's true, but I think when we're looking at things like knows how to gut a fish, knows how to paunch a rabbit...
But, I mean, the magazine in question, I would say that would... A lot of your readers, that's the kind of thing they'd be interested in.
Exactly, Holly. We've been going for 120 years. We have a very traditional readership. We appeal to them, and it's the kind of thing that we want to be able to do. I'm married to a gamekeeper. It's the kind of thing I can do. I think it's good to eat game, wild game, to harvest what we have. And we also, to make a serious point, we were basically trying to say that we think that you can be a feminist and be pushy, but you can be polite at the same time.
The premise of the article, though, was equality. I get that you did the men's version, then to make it equal you did the ladies' version. But I just don't... Where is the equality in this list? You know, so many of the women's ideas suggest that they're back in the home reading their children bedtime stories, or they're in the kitchen cooking perfect roast potatoes. And none of that featured on the men's list.
Maybe the readers of Country Life are.
Yeah, but I do that. I'm a working mum, and I'm all for women and everything. But I make a good roast potato.
Isn't it insulting to suggest a man can't do that as well?
But I don't know what was on the men's list.
We're not suggesting
I'll read that in a minute.
And also in the men's list, we said that a gentleman can cook an omelette to die for. So we have talked about cooking, and I don't think that cooking is a feminist issue. I mean, you can still be a strident feminist and be really great at your job, but want to go home and cook a lovely roast dinner for your family.
Would a feminist know that brevity is the soul of lingerie?
That's a Dorothy Parker quote, and that was actually us trying to say that we don't think that a visible panty line is ever a good idea.
It doesn't say that, though, does it?
Why didn't you just say that, then? Because now I understand
because we thought that quote was quite funny.
But that speaks to a modern woman, just to spell it out.
Well, I have to say, Phil did have to explain it to me. I was like, well, what does that mean? Brevity.
Tiny pants.
Right, OK, I get it.
I think what really offends me about this list, though, is the idea that some of these suggestions, so when you're talking about gutting a fish and paunching a rabbit, it then says, but give your man the privilege of doing that, or know when to let a man think it's his idea. I just think that's really patronising to men and women.
Isn't there a bit of room for a bit of Downton in all our lives, really? I mean, you read this, and there will be people who live this life, not many, but there will be people who live it. And for the rest of us, we can sort of look in.
Sure, we all love nostalgia. Downton's obviously fantastic, but when you're creating a list that says, here's how to be a modern gentleman, and then you're creating a list that says, here's how to be a lady, and those ideas aren't speaking to modern women, it just strikes me as a bit odd.
Well, the man's list is tips staff in a private house and a gamekeeper in the shooting field. You are. I mean, what gentleman that you know you wouldn't like to be able to do that? Has 2 tricks to entertain children. Can undo a bra with one hand. Can prepare a one-match bonfire. Would not go to Puerto Rico. And demonstrates that making love is neither a race nor a competition. And those are some of the ones on the list.
Well,
what do you think of those?
It's all good fun, but that's all actually quite positive, upbeat stuff. And when you look at the women's list, that's not always true. Actually, another one that really got me upset was where it said, don't worry, ladies, you don't have to understand the rules of rugby or cricket. You can enjoy the game anyway.
That does sound terrible.
It's not great.
It does a little bit. That was the one that I did think, OK.
It does say might not understand the rules, so I think you're taking it a little bit seriously,
I just think
Claire.
it's a bit sad when we've had a year of women doing so brilliantly in sport. We've had the Women's World Cup in football, which was so popular. We had the first woman winning the Melbourne Cup last week, the first female jockey.
Yeah.
And then to say to girls and, you know, the daughters and granddaughters of country life readers, oh, don't worry, you don't have to understand the rules, it's fine.
Have you had to defend your ladies' list as opposed to your gentlemen's list? Were you surprised that this one sort of kicked off as much as it did?
Yes, we have, and I guess that there is a serious point here that when you talk about women, you have to be far more careful. But what we were trying to say, and the same thing that we were trying to say with the gents list, is that we are a traditional magazine. We believe in people being kind and courteous and considerate and thoughtful, and it's something that is sort of disappearing from our society. And I stick by my point. I believe you can be a feminist, a lady, and be kind and thoughtful, and I don't see that that's a bad thing. I think that can only be a good thing.
I'd like to...